Hello, I'm Rico White, head football coach at Anniston High. You watching the Average Joe Sports Talk.
Hey, Rico, I appreciate you, taking time out of your day right here in the middle of the season. Try to get with you a little earlier, but we're getting it done today, and that's the main thing. Everybody I've talked to that knows you, your peers and all have positive things to say about you. Haven't met a gentleman yet say something negative about you, so this is a true honor for you having us in today. But I want to start, man. Take us back where you grew up at and what life was like for you growing up.
Okay, started out in Silas, Alabama, Choctaw County, southern Choctaw, small town, rural area in near South Alabama, and had a successful year. We used to play good football down there, and I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship at Alabama State University, and did pretty well there. Went to the Senior Bowl, and went to a few camps and stuff like that. Tore up my knee, come home, got my degree at Alabama State, and started coaching.
Absolutely. So you tore your knee up when you were at Alabama State?
At Alabama State.
How did that happen?
We were playing a big game, Tuskegee University, Turkey Day Classic, and I was running the ball, and D lineman fell on it and tore it up from there. Did you figure in that moment when that happened that you think that maybe happened for a reason that kind of led you into your coaching career, or would you have aspirations to go to the next level and play? Well, believe it or not, I have my freshman year. So freshman year, and it was made me hungry. It made me understand I got to really work to get to where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to pro and have that opportunity, and I still was fortunate enough to get those opportunities by playing the Senior Bowls. And in my senior year, I had a successful senior year. Like I say, that was just a blessing.
Absolutely. So you worked your way back from that. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, who was somebody that you seen as you were growing up that like truly inspired you? Now this could have been when you were in college, or this could have been when you were a child coming up playing sports.
Yes, as a child, I used to go outside and emulate Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, those guys. I couldn't wait to ABC Sports to watch them. Keith Jackson announcing the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Bobby Humphrey, those guys. To be able to see those guys at a younger age, that inspired me to play running. I always wanted to play running back, but believe it or not, when I played Pee Wee football, I played nose guard.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was number 70. So,
you had your hand in the dirt.
I had my hands in the dirt.
Nice. So. Man, that's another question. It's like, the game of football has changed and evolved so much. Talk about the difference in football when you played and how it's played today. Some of the things you like and some of the things maybe you think that is a little different that you don't like necessarily.
Okay. The thing that I like about the game today is the speed. Everything is wide open, the spread offense, and just it's funner for the kids. It's funner for the fans. But when I was coming along, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, hard nose, and wasn't no such thing as concussions. Right. Wasn't no such thing as targeting. You get some snot bubbles knocked in, you just shake it off and play.
That's part of it.
Yeah, so the game changed in that way.
We have Dr. De'Eric Sparks on. He's one of our sponsors, and he talked about concussions actually week before last when he come on our preview show, and he said there's no telling with the diagnosis that they have nowadays. He said back in the day they didn't even send you in for that.
No,
that wasn't nothing.
He
said the number of concussions that we have on record now as kids coming in, as opposed to what's really happening,
yes,
especially back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
absolutely.
90s, he said it was astronomical.
Yes.
And he said what could have been the long-term effects of that to some of these people.
Absolutely. I mean, back then it was just because you got your bell wrong, so you
That's
get
right.
Back out there and play. So that's the last thing on your mind. And I think the more you put focus on something, the more it become a part of you. So right now, like I say, you get your bell wrong and keep playing.
That's it. Now, let me ask you this. Was there a point in your career, maybe you were around somebody, it could have happened during a game when you seen something. Was there a point in your career where you said, hey, I think I can do this for a career? Or I'm talking about during your playing career.
Yes.
Where you think, I think I can teach this. I think I can be a coach one day.
Yes.
Is there a point that you ever, something like that came about, or did it just kind of organically happen?
Well, I tell you what, I love the game so much, and
people don't understand. I played ever since I was 5. And then when you get like 23 or 24, it's cut off. I mean, just that's the end.
Yeah.
So you say, all right, what I'm gonna do now? And then I said, coaching. You know, I want to be around the game so much I can coach. So it takes that edge away that you want to coach or want to play so bad that you become a coach.
That makes a lot of sense. You kind of, like you said, it's cold turkey when you become 23, but you still have that itch and that love.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
kind of what I love about it.
Absolutely.
It definitely makes sense. So now let me ask you this question. This is something that every coach I've ever asked this in every sport has a different answer. How do you, like we talked about the physicality of the game and the mental toughness of the game back then, how does the way you were taught and brought up and coached and played, how are you transitioning that into the guys nowadays in the modern game, you know, through your knowledge? How do you transition that out and get what you need your guys to do out now?
Well, I'll tell you what, back in the day, you know, we used to have coaches standing over us yelling, stick your head in there, get at it. But nowadays, man, with lawsuits and everything, you almost have to create drills to get it done. You know, you try to create techniques, a perfect technique of doing things the right way, and trying to get those kids to understand how tough you got to go. We do visual aids. I mean, let them watch other players, let them watch college players with so many camps and stuff, and they get a chance to compete against those guys at a high level. So it's just these kids nowadays are more visual than hands-on or kinesthetic like us. We was hands-on. You gonna get out there and bust your butt and get it. But these kids, they have so many different opportunities that you almost have to trick them to get them to do it.
There ain't no doubt about it. And you talked about, you know, how they're visual and stuff. Here's another question that I ask coaches, and we always get a different answer. With what you just said, how do you keep your guys focused? Because now look at the distractions: cars, cell phones, social media, girls. You know, there's a million distractions, naysayers, media people telling them they're good or bad. How do you keep your guys focused in this locker room?
Well, I think more so than anything, all kids are playful and fun, especially boys. They love horse playing and all that kind of stuff. So football is an outlet for them. So in order to really keep them focused, make it fun, make it challenging. Take them outside the box and let them see what other kids got going on, like all these camps, and then bring them back and say, hey, let's do it here. So, you know, you got to make it fun for these kids. And the spread offense now does that for them.
That's true.
And more so than I think if I, at Anniston High, with all the skill athletes I have, if I just ran wing tee or just get in a power eye the whole game, I don't know if these kids will buy in. But these kids done bought in. They did a well job of doing it. So we can kind of be multiple with these kids.
That's
so it
right.
works.
Make it fun is the message.
Yeah, that's the key.
Right there. So what was your biggest hurdle from the time you stopped playing football to becoming a coach? An obstacle you had to overcome? Was there something in your brain thinking, man, I'm really not playing no more, and now I've got a coach, but where do I go to do this? What was your biggest hurdle you overcome to make that happen?
I think the biggest hurdle is just get myself focused and understand that it's time to hang the cleats up and it's time to get it. You know, one thing I can say that's motivated, I had a daughter. I had a young daughter. Yeah, you have a kid. The bills got to be paid and she got to be taken care of. So that, and I was surrounded by football. All my friends, if they wasn't playing, they was coaching. So that was my lifestyle. So it wasn't hard for me to adapt to that because it's a lifestyle. That's what you do daily. You know, it's kind of like working out. I'm used to it. That's if I don't feel right if I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest hurdle, just understanding, all right, you through playing, you have a child, you have your degree, let's start coaching.
It's time to flip the script.
Time to flip the script.
Who was a coach that maybe coached you or you seen coaching, or it may have been somebody on TV that you looked at that guy and you was like, man, this dude right here, this is what I want to be as a coach?
Absolutely. I think it was two that really just stands out. Larry Barkin was my head coach at Southern Choctaw. That guy, he went to Alabama State, but you talking about hard nose, and back then, I think like for 2 weeks, he wouldn't bring a football to practice.
Yeah, I was just hitting each other.
We just hit each other, hit the sled, hit the sled,
awesome.
and he wanted to see if you really wanted to play this game.
Makes
And
sense.
believe it or not, I had to ride home with him every day. He was my
So you got to hear
transportation.
it.
So I listened to him. He talked to me. So I was getting coached not only on the field, but on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's huge.
that was huge. And then Houston Markham, Alabama State, he was more of a father figure than a coach. You know, you got in college, you got an offensive coordinator, you got a defense coordinator. The head coach is really the overseer, facilitator. And he'll come in and input his info and all this in. He showed us what it's all about them life lessons. That's what he was about.
100%.
And he made me a real man. And I appreciate him so much.
That's awesome. What was it that led you here to Anniston? That you probably seen something here. Anniston's had a great program in the past, man, and you know they've had their ups and downs. But what was it that led you ultimately here to Anniston High School?
You wouldn't believe it, man. I came to Anniston to get out of football.
Did you?
I came here. This was my first middle school job. I came here. I was
Okay.
down south. I always coached down south. I done had some jobs down south, and some good ones, some bad ones. But I came here. I was burnt out mentally with it, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to take a break. And they had a middle school job open here, and I came in. I took a middle school job. And they said, well, if you take the middle school job, you got to coach at the high school. So,
They want you as a position coach?
a position coach.
Okay.
So I became the position coach 1 year up under Coach Bull. Then I was coaching at the middle school, which was fun. The middle school young kids have so much passion and they listen. More so, you get guys in high school, I done figured it out. But it got my wheels turning again. It got that fire in me again. And once Coach Bullock removed from this job, I got excited and I said, let me try it out again.
And I want to talk to you about a team last year, and you can go back and watch my video. I can promise you, I said this to him face to face.
Yes.
Was Ron Wiggins? I had Ron Wiggins on the show last year, and Ron Wiggins has done a lot of stuff in some games, but I remember watching you guys play and how fast and physical you guys were defensively. And I told Ron Wiggins, I said, that game you had against Anniston, I got more respect for you than any game you've ever had in your career. Okay. And he's had, I think, 400-yard games before. Or I know high 300s. I know that for a fact.
Yes.
And I told him, I said, bro, when you did what you did against Anniston,
yes.
I said, with those guys and the way they hit and as fast as it was, I gave them mad props. I say that to say this. You guys went to the semis last year. And a great team.
Absolutely.
Talk about that team last year, man. Y'all was tenacious, y'all were hungry, fast, physical, athletes everywhere. It looked like those Anniston teams of old, but faster.
Yes. Well, that was my whole goal when I come here, to bring that tradition back where those championship teams had. Anniston always been known to have fast defense, play hard, athletes that get at it. And last year, coming into the season, we was a spread team. And I had like 4 injuries at receiver. My receivers got hurt, and we became a running team. But the key was, we even though we had 23 seniors, the off season was amazing. We went to UAB, competed against Bob Jones, Florence, 6A school, big schools, 7A schools. So, and then we went to Alabama State camps. We did Gaston City, went to OTAs there. So my kids was just able to get around other kids that was competing, and they wanted to win, but let's go somewhere and see what other people are doing to win. So they bought into it, and I tell you what, those seniors I had last year was amazing.
Some dogs, man.
They was dogs. You know, I always joke and talk to last year's seniors and this senior. I said, this team got more talent than last year's team. And they be like, Coach, how? I said, no, y'all was more mentally focused last year than this team. Yeah. Y'all IQ for the game was much higher than this team. No doubt. So, and that's what we're trying to get these young kids to understand now.
That makes sense. That's my next question, actually. What do you think it's going to take? Because what you're doing here is, in my opinion, is building a program.
Yes.
And in any program, there's going to be steps forward and steps back. But what do you think it's going to take to get Anniston back where you know, it's people see y'all on that schedule and they're like, I don't want no part of these dudes, man.
I tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the only difference in this year than the last 2 years, you know, first round, last year, semifinal, COVID made it hurt us this year tremendously. You talking about teams are made between January and May.
100%.
And we didn't get that this year. I mean, you talking about January, February, March, April, May, we out of school. Kids do nothing. Then we came back in July and we had a kid with the COVID for a little touch of it, and we took another 2 weeks off. Then we came out and worked out 2 weeks, and guess what they say? It's time to go play football. And my kids,
So technically,
Yeah.
2 weeks off, work out 2 weeks, and then into a game.
didn't have a spring, didn't have spring practice. So you talking about not having a spring with young kids now. My teams are based off of 9th graders and 10th graders. So they hadn't been through the fire. they ain't been branded yet.
Man,
But
well, that's tough.
it's tough.
And see, people don't know a lot of this. That's why having videos like this is good, because we interviewed Bucky McMillan. I know you probably know who that is, from Mountain Brook, and he talked about the importance, like, parents and people in the media and people in the news and people in town. They judge 100% of what they see between those white lines.
Absolutely.
And he said what they don't realize is that's less than 1% of what goes on in this program. You
Absolutely.
count workouts, bus rides, weight room, running, conditioning, practice. It's less than 1%.
Absolutely.
Some people don't realize that.
And in society, not only the fan base, but in society, we have a microwave society where they want everything instant. and
Roy, you ain't lying.
they want everything instant. And I can say the last 2 years have spoiled our fans, they have spoiled our team, it spoiled me. We were used to winning, we were used to things having a certain way. So the expectation is high, the standards are high. It haven't changed. It's just we was unfortunate with this virus that took place that kind of affect us. I don't think the season is out of whack completely. I think we're getting together, which, or if you're a good program or a good team, you should see improvement.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we will improve and we will get better. We got to make a run the second half.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do it.
You played some dogs already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
Let's change gears a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Rico White has a complete off day. There's no football involved. What's he going to be doing?
In Riverside, fishing.
Fishing?
Fishing. I love fishing. If I'm not fishing, I'm in the gym somewhere working out or watching some way I can better the program.
I got you. You're just working on your off day.
Yeah, I'm working my off days.
All right. What music is in your car right now?
Right now, with everything on the phone, just whatever I want to hear. But I listen to all kind of music. Believe it or not, I like all kind of music. And I'll tell you a story that you wouldn't believe. In the weight room, we'll play rap music. Kids get them going. And then all of a sudden I'll play a country song.
Oh,
and they'll be like, Coach, what are you doing? I said, we playing a Host Buff now. They're not listening to rap. And I need y'all to be at the same page. And just trying to get them in a different environment mindset. But believe it or not, they end up liking it.
Yeah.
Once you hear the word they start listening. So it makes them way around. We listen to all kind of music.
Oh, I love it. That's
Yes.
awesome. What's the last TV show you binged watched?
Last TV show I watched, if it's not football, it's pretty much too much of nothing. But I think what was it? The Equalizer.
Equalizer?
Yeah,
I got you.
Equalizer 2. That's the last movie I watched on TV. But if it's not football, I'm too much watching.
That second one's real good. Both of them's good, though.
Yes.
Honestly. What's a guilty pleasure, something that you do that everybody's like, what? I didn't even know he was into that or he did that. We've had some funny ones on here, my friend.
Believe it or not, I'm going to tell you something that's crazy. My brother got me into this and my mother. I go to estate sales on Saturday,
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something though. It's funny you say that because I'm a nerd myself, and sometimes I can collect like comic book. I'm a big Captain America fan.
Yes.
You can go find stuff at some of these estates.
That's amazing.
It'll blow your mind.
Yes, and I go there because I can find workout equipment. I can find all kind of stuff.
Usually they don't know what they have.
They don't know,
They
yeah.
get rid of it.
So that's what I do.
All right, no doubt. I like that right there. What if you had your choice to go on vacation anywhere in the world? Where would that be?
More so, it got to be somewhere I can go fishing. I always go to the Gulf on the coast and fish. But if I had to, I've been somewhere everywhere. I think probably Cancun or somewhere.
Cancun?
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Chill out on the beach.
Chill out
relax.
on the beach.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go change gears back, get a little bit serious here. What is a personal goal of yours at this point in your career? Something that you're like, I'm going to do this at this point in your career.
My biggest thing is connecting the dots with kids and the Lord. I want them not only to win football games and be successful, but understand at the end of the day, when this thing ends, it's about Him.
Right.
And and be a vessel for Him, be a servant for Him, because most coaches don't want to say, but that's what I'm about. Building young men to understand that one day football is gonna be over.
That's right.
And if you can connect the dots with Him, you'll be fine.
I'm glad you said that because we're one of the few channels out there that's edited by themselves.
Yes, yeah.
So we don't listen to nobody else. What's the Lord meant for you in your life growing up? And I'm sure He's helped you get through hard times. But I love when people bring it up. I love talking about it. Just the platform for you to talk about it right now. For some young man that may listen to this, it may change his life.
Yes, our prime example. Like I said, when I tore my knee up, you young, the last thing you think about is the Lord. You football, I'm Superman. So once I tore my knee up, and I had the first surgery, and then they said, well, we're gonna have to go in again because we think it's ACL. It has a torn spot. And my mother took me to this lady. We call her Mother Isla. Mother Isla prayed for me and said, you ain't gonna have when they go in, you're gonna be healed. I'm like, I hope so. And believe it or not, when I went in, it was healed. It was well. And that kind of opened my eyes to understand. Because when you come up, you always hear your mother say, go to church. You hear your father say, go to church. As a kid, you be like, yeah, whatever.
You don't know why.
You don't know why. But when those dots connect, you really understand it. So He mean the world to me. Lord.
That's perfect, man. I love that right there.
Yes.
Like I said, we ain't got ain't nobody telling me to take it out of my own.
Absolutely.
I like to close with this one right here. So, when young men leave your program, what is the main takeaways you want them to carry over into their life as they move forward? And I know you just touched on some of that, but if you could say, hey, if I've done this, then I've done my job with this guy.
The biggest thing, faith with the Lord and being a family man, and just stay prayed up, and you want them to get scholarships, you want them to go to college, but that ain't gonna happen to everyone. But you want them to be productive citizens, and then one day they'll come back and say, Coach, appreciate you. The biggest thing you can do for a coach is just say, Coach, I appreciate it. When a coach feel appreciated, that's it. You don't have to give me nothing else. Just say thank you.
That's it.
That's
a lot
it.
of sense.
Just being appreciated.
No doubt. Coach, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad we finally got to get in here and talk to you. I know it's been a long time coming, but we finally got it knocked out. We're going to be back to get some of your guys on and focus them, some one-on-ones.
Absolutely. We look forward to it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, go Dogs.